Hello everyone, I was allowed to test the WalkingPad X21, a folding treadmill that is also one of the newest and highest quality treadmills in the WalkingPad range. In this test video, you can find out whether it lives up to its promise, and can even be used on the top floor or in the attic without any problems. If you don't know the channel yet, I test and compare the best products for the home and garden. I always try to get something special from the companies for you as my viewer. More on this later. The treadmill is delivered fully assembled, and when unfolded it has a length of 142 centimeters, a width of 71.1 centimeters, and a height of 100.7 centimeters. The running surface on the belt is 121 x 46 centimeters, and in my opinion this is perfectly adequate. At first glance the treadmill may look a little inconspicuous, but it has a top speed of 12 kilometers per hour. The maximum recommended body weight for use is 110 kilograms. The treadmill itself weighs an impressive 37 kilograms. Of course, this weight also plays a role in the delivery. The parcel arrived in very good condition and the treadmill was very well and securely packaged. It was also fitted with additional protective material in key areas. It immediately made a very high quality impression and had a pleasant odor. If you do not plan a fixed location for the walking pad, the folded state is also decisive for your storage. It should be stored standing up, and in this state the length is reduced to 22.5 centimeters. The height and width remain the same. The accessories supplied include lubricating oil, a 1.95 meter power cable, a tablet holder and an Allen key with which you can tighten or loosen the treadmill at the back. Assembly and disassembly is very simple and straightforward. To unfold it, you need to pull the safety lever upwards. This also sits comfortably in your hand, and you will notice that it can easily bear the weight of the running surface. Then fold over the second side and make sure that the strap is centered so that there is no friction with the sides. And that's it. Folding it up is just as easy. Fold up one side and then grab the lever in the center so that you don't pinch your fingers on the sides of the lever, and fold up the running surface until it clicks into place. Then you can tilt it slightly and pull it across the room using the transport rollers and stow it away. The treadmill should be completely unfolded before you connect it to the power supply and switch it on. In the same way, you should switch it off before folding it up again to avoid damage. Let's move on to operating the WalkingPad X21. There are various ways to start the treadmill. It is important that you have plugged in the safety plug so that the safe mode is active. Here I will briefly show you what happens if you pull out the safety plug while running, which should always be attached somewhere on your clothing. As you can see, the treadmill stops almost immediately as soon as the plug is pulled out. You also don't have to stand on the treadmill for it to start running, as is the case with the WalkingPad P1 for example. If necessary, you can also vacuum the treadmill while it is running, as dust and dirt also accumulate there over time. As you can see, it has a very nice OLED display that shows you your running time, speed, distance run in kilometers, and calories burned. In my opinion, the display not only really enhances the walking pad, but also motivates you to keep an eye on your success at all times. I personally don't use the tablet holder, but it's a nice feature. The speed can be adjusted in 0.1 km per hour increments using the main switch. At the moment, you can't switch the resulting piping noise off or down. This is definitely a point for improvement. I personally always use the app to measure my steps, and I use the app control when I'm using the walking pad while working on my PC. This brings us to the next point, which is walking at my desk. This also works wonderfully, but it's difficult to reach the control element, which is why I always start and control the treadmill via the app. Of course, you need a height adjustable desk for this. At 1.86 meters tall, I work at a height of approx 126 centimeters. If you allow for a little buffer between the treadmill display and the desk should be adjustable to a height of at least 115 centimeters. Of course, I don't walk in this position, I just want to get towards the 10,000 steps recommended per day. What also works very well, of course, is running in combination with videos. To do this, I move the treadmill away from the table so that I can still see the display. You can also increase the speed here. My partner watches films or series while she runs, for example. I have also tested gaming. I recommend a relaxed pace here, especially if you need to concentrate, but that also works, and everyone knows how quickly an hour goes by when you're having fun. so you can also collect good steps here. Let's move on to the topic of volume. Here you can see the decibel measurement in my office at different speed levels. I have to say that the room is still quite empty, which leads to a stronger sound development. So I can't judge exactly to what extent this affects the measurement results. Well, what good are steps if you can't hear anything while you're running or the neighbor keeps ringing and threatening to call a lawyer? I can reassure you about the treadmill. In my opinion, the cushioning is much better than that of the WalkingPad P1, which means that it inherently transmits fewer vibrations to the floor. Nevertheless, I recommend that you maximize noise reduction, especially in apartment buildings. If you walk normally, the good damping of the treadmill will usually be sufficient. That means roughly between 2 and 5 kilometers per hour. From this point onwards, I would always place a rubber mat underneath to absorb the vibration. So not a thin floor protection mat, but nice thick rubber. The nature of the floor also plays a role. We have laminate flooring with impact sound insulation in our flat, which of course can't do any harm either. We also asked both the neighbors below us and those next to us, and you couldn't hear anything when jogging at between 6 and 8 kilometers an hour, even if it seemed loud in the room itself. That's exactly what we want to achieve. I can't tell you how it is with tiles, but in the case described, the treadmill is 100% suitable for an upper floor and attic, which of course also motivates you to go on it more often. Unfortunately, the rollers of the treadmill are not designed for rubber mats, which makes it impossible to move by pushing and pulling on it. A thin floor protection mat can easily manage it, but you have to use a few tricks here. Larger rollers would solve the problem here. Once the treadmill is standing on the mat, you can adjust it well together with the rubber mat. If you plan a fixed location, all the better. Let's come to my conclusion. As soon as I used it for the first time, I realized that it felt very comfortable to run in. Every step feels good, which is certainly also thanks to the good cushioning. I always have the feeling that the treadmill is safe and stable, regardless of the speed, which makes it a fully fledged treadmill in my eyes. Whether working, watching films or playing games, the device is fun. There are only 2 points that could be improved. Number 1 is the small transport rollers, and number 2 is the loud pipping noise that occurs when adjusting the treadmill. The latter will hopefully be fixed with one of the next updates, because you can hear the noise 2 rooms away, even when the door is closed. This is a great pity, as you can't start the treadmill early in the morning and late in the evening with a clear conscience, although the running volume wouldn't be a problem, even if you only want to walk a few meters. Hopefully this will be fixed in the future. Apart from that, I don't want to miss the walking pad anymore, and I try to integrate it into my daily routine. If you are interested in the X21 or one of the other devices from the WalkingPad series, I can offer you a $100 discount code if you sit in the US and a £80 discount if you sit in the UK. Just follow the right link in the video description and it will be automatically activated and deducted at checkout. Many thanks to Kingsmith for another opportunity to test the treadmill, and thank you for watching. If you have any questions about the X21, feel free to write them in the comments. I'll answer them as soon as possible. Until the next video, all the best.